Hey, okay, well, let's jump in and take a look at performance segments. So let's jump back to the campaign view here. And instead of segmenting by network, I'm going to segment by, let's say, device first. So I want to take a look and see if, make sure you're looking at a meaningful period. This is the first thing that I want to suggest when we're looking at performance is don't look at 1 day, 2 days, 7 days, even is a very, very narrow window. Let's take a look at 30 days of performance as a baseline. I want to look at device and see if spend is evenly distributed. If not, that's fine. But the question would be why? Is performance significantly better in one device versus another? And these are all just things to note. Basically, we're not looking for answers right now. We're looking for patterns. What other segments can we look at meaningfully? The other place to look at this, I guess, basically, is under your insights and when and where ads were shown. This is the same information, just represented differently. And this would be a great place to look at that. Similarly, we can look at time of day. And again, a couple things to ask yourself are we missing time of day? And if we are, does that make sense? So for instance, like at, where's the AMs here? Sorry. So does it make sense that at 3 a.m. and 4 a.m. I have very little impressions? Yeah, for this business it does. And that's fine, but it might not for yours. And this is absolutely something to be looking at, is to say, do I want impressions during that time? Or is it a demand issue or a budget issue? In this case, I don't think people are booking massage therapy sessions at 2 a.m. to 3 a.m. or 3 a.m. to 4 a.m. So I'm not concerned about this, but that might look different for yours. Network, time of day, device, location is the other really, really big one here. Let's take a look at match locations really quickly. We can divide this up, obviously. So I'm going to, the context of this really depends on your business, but I'm going to divide this up by postal codes because this business is quite local in terms of how its scope. So this is the other thing to look at is, does this make sense? Are these, maybe you have CRM data, Shopify data, HubSpot data, Salesforce data, Pipedrive data, whatever. Match this up with your customer list. Does it make sense for the majority of spend to be happening inside these two areas? You can look at this by, cities again, if your business has a bigger scope or whatever else. But I'm just looking for logic and patterns here, and that's the big area of inquiry here. That's basically it. I would just make note of all these things. Let's not start making changes. Let's not start making any optimizations based on this. The other really big thing I'm just noticing here basically is that we've got very few clicks represented in T1M and very few impressions. So you don't want to be making, it would be really easy for me to look at this and say 40% conversion rate here. That's amazing. Let's double, triple, quadruple down on spending in this one specific postal code. But I don't want to make assumptions on performance without a sufficient volume, particularly of clicks. Obviously you need impressions to fuel clicks, but if you're not getting at least 100 clicks in a data point, I don't think it's worth making a decision on. That's the bare minimum, and even then that's probably not statistically significant, but for some accounts like this one, this isn't a really high volume account. We still need to make decisions based on the data that we have available. But I think the minimum threshold for making a sensible decision is 100 clicks, just for clarification. Okay, we'll see you in the next module.